Yeah, so
do we need to do like an intro?
Intro. How do you intro something?
All right, so here's the Untitled Podcast, Volume 2.
Untitled because we don't have a name. This is Thomas Bailey.
Ben Cross. I think what we're going to do, or what we ought to do, is crowdsource the name.
Okay, yeah, so we need some help with the name.
We don't know what we're doing here.
I mean, we've come up, he said Reload Happens last episode. I said Gray Area, and that's been taken. I like that, though.
Love and Reload.
Love and Reload.
Shame and Arrogance.
Shame and arrogance. Arrogance and shame. Let's start. Arrogance and shame. I think that was the best. That was the best one so far. Yeah, you gotta go arrogance first. He's arrogance, I'm shame.
Sometimes.
You know.
Changes on a daily basis.
Yeah. I like that one a lot, but it sounds a little
It's aggressive.
It sounds a little controversial, like we're gonna talk about something crazy.
And we're just talking about moving.
And like life around moving.
Yeah.
So help us out.
Yeah. Or if you got better ideas, because we sure need better ideas. The Ben and Thomas podcast, too similar to a French movie of the same name. So, just whatever you guys got, just throw it in the comments.
Yeah.
We'll probably take maybe the best 5 of those, and then we'll put them out to a vote.
Yeah.
We'll do like a primary and then like a general election.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the votes probably be rigged somehow.
Yeah, and then it'll be like the real election. The popular vote won't always win. We'll come in and we'll do an electoral college where we both then vote. I'm a bigger state, so I'll have more of a vote. And then we'll come up with something that at the end of the day you're probably not going to be happy with. But we're going to tell you that's the way it is, and we're going to do it for 4 years. So that's kind of what we're going to roll with.
And you'll smile the whole time.
Yeah, you're going to love it.
Yeah, so last time we talked, so please help us out with that. But last time we talked, we ended off and we kind of wanted to talk about where we came from.
Okay.
How you got here. How you got to this point in your life. And we'll go like personal, work, everything.
So this is going to be kind of our journey, our story.
Yes, our path.
What's your truth?
Yes. I'm not going to tell all the truth.
You're not going to tell the truth.
I'm not going to tell the truth. I'll tell half the part of the truth that makes sense.
Well, I know enough about Thomas that if he's lying, I'm going to stop him. I'm going to call him on it. He's going to have to unpack these lies. And thus the shame aspect of the Shame and Arrogance podcast.
Exactly. I'm going to go with all the arrogance first, and then you'll be like, yo, remember that little piece of shame you got there?
I'm going to arrogantly shame Thomas.
So, but I want you to start, though, because
the
reason why I want you to start is because I like your story better. But no, because I think that's what you kind of.
You have reload roots though, which I think is interesting.
I do have reload roots.
So
reload roots, I like that.
It's
pretty awesome too.
It's open if you want to throw that one out there too.
Yeah. So I do have reload roots, so I'm pulling seniority on this, so you go first. So what we kind of talked a little bit about last week. You said you told me something that you hadn't told anybody else, and because you were on your mom, you were with your mom on the train. And
we're going way back.
Yeah, you went to my.
I think that was like 7th grade.
But
I think that was when the Rangers won the Stanley Cup in 1994.
So you were already pretty emotional.
So I was 12 years old, 7th grade.
Right.
That was before the Cup.
But that was something I didn't know about you at all. And I've known you for quite some time, and we've shared a lot of information. So I'd like to just hear a little bit more. Let's maybe not start at 7th grade.
Do we want to start early? Because I'll tell you honestly, I had a kind of a tumultuous. I don't want to say childhood, but high school years were very interesting. A lot of people don't know this about me, so I'm very much about being open kimono. I love that phrase on so many levels.
Okay,
just the visual, right?
The visual is great.
So here I am, open kimono. I had a rough high school situation, right, where I was failing out of high school, and because I was doing a lot of the wrong things, hanging out with the wrong people. And cutting class a lot, like freshman year, freshman year early.
Oh,
I had first semester study hall. First semester I had first period study hall.
Yep.
Second semester I had first 2 period study hall.
What?
I was and I was doing the worst possible things you could do with a study hall to kick off the day, right?
Yeah.
And so anyway, point being is I was failing biology. I was getting D's in math. I was fighting. I was doing all sorts of stuff. And so I actually pulled myself out of high school and I asked to be put into the alternative school.
Okay.
For the
That never happened.
That's the school where they put the bad boys and the pregnant girls. Straight up, that's what
we had one of those schools too.
Yeah,
I think everybody has one of those.
Yeah, and so I remember going to my guidance counselor, and I was like, hey, I think I should go here. And she's like, why? And I'm like, because I'm doing XYZ. And she's like, that seems like a good fit right there.
Wow.
So I went. Yeah.
That was your first sale.
So that was my first. Well, no. Well, we gotta talk about sales.
Oh, no,
How we got into sales?
No. Well,
this is actually funny too.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. You go.
Okay. So anyway, I go there and I straighten it out and I start making the honor roll. I was actually the first kid ever in the history of this little school that had like 80 kids in it to make high honor roll, which means straight A's. I actually reconnected with my relationship with God through a teacher. We had a couple of good teachers there that kind of nourished me spiritually, got involved in my church. Actually sobered up when I was in high school for a year and a half, got my stuff together. And then I went to college. A lot of that went kind of back off the rails, But anyway, college was phenomenal. Made some great friends. Learned a lot about
that changed.
I learned a lot about how to hustle, how to market. I was running a website, albanyexchange.com, which is now defunct. But me and my boy Jay Mezrahi win daily on Twitter. Big shout to my man Jay, who was living under my bed running this website. And doing club promotions, doing all sorts
like the beginning of Facebook, right?
Doing all sorts of, we had the wrong idea for the website.
It just didn't work.
Yeah. But, promoting, doing clubs, putting 700 kids in these nightclubs and stuff and making a lot of cash doing it, right? So anyway, I graduate college and then, long story short, I take the first job out of college that I could find because I moved back with my mom, true millennial.
Yeah, got to move back
but I did it nice. I did it with my girlfriend, who's now my wife.
That's even more millennial.
Yeah. And we got the first job out of college at Pods.
Okay, Pods. So the real job was
in the Pods call center.
Okay.
In Carrollton, Texas, in this little kind of boiler room call center adjacent to a warehouse, and did that. Got promoted really quickly, actually, and they moved me to Clearwater, Florida. And they said to me, I remember this was at the company picnic. The director pulled me to the side, and he's like, "Are you mobile?" And I was like, I move pretty good. You know what I mean? I move because we were throwing the football around. I was like, I move pretty good.
I got good knees.
I had no idea what he was talking about. I had no idea about mobility, about relocation.
Are you mobile? That's a weird question.
Mobile. I was like, "Are you mobile?" I'm like,
"Yeah,
I get around all right." I got around a lot better back then. And he's like, "No, can you relocate?" And I was like, "Well, I relocated to Dallas. I can relocate to wherever. What's up?" And he's like, "Well, we want you to come out to headquarters in Clearwater and interview for this position, this new position we were making called the sales champion role."
Sales champion.
Yeah.
It sounds like a movie.
This is a made up ass title for a job if you ever heard of one.
It sounds like some Office Space type of
It does sound like Office Space.
It sounds kind of fake.
It was fake. It was made up, right? But all ideas are made up.
Yeah, right.
And so anyway, I became the sales champion for Pods, and so
sales champion.
I was the sales champion, and I did sales training. I did coaching. I developed training materials, job aids, things like that to boost sales throughout the call center.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I moved into a supervisor role, working the 2:30 to 11 shift, selling local containers. And I moved into the long distance thing, and then I managed the whole sales thing. This was back in like 2010, I think. Yeah. And then.
Yeah. So when did you start? What year was that? When you started?
March 13th of 2006
was when you started with Pods.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so I got 13 years in the game.
Wow.
Yeah. And so anyway, and then I learned I got exposure to national accounts. That's where I first got my first exposure to national accounts and corporate relocation and RMCs and whatever. And then also I got some experience on the government and the military side, trying to sell military. And so anyway, I left there, did a brief stint over at a company called Freight Center. I was the vice president of sales there for like 6 months, and they fired me, which is a whole nother phenomenal life lesson right there.
We gotta have
so much. You learn so much more from failure than you do from your success.
Yeah, I've heard that many times.
And the pain of failure, Jerry Seinfeld said pain is information entering the body. And the pain I went through in that summer of 2011, being just fired, I went from being like, I'm making more money than I ever made in my life.
Yeah.
I doubled my salary. I got this VP title. I got this really cool, Chrysler 300 with the SRT engine in it. It was a bad boy. It was all blacked out.
Okay.
I was a bad man, And then I went from being up here to being like lower than the low, because my dad always told me that a company, that you're only worth what a company's willing to pay you. That's your market value.
Right.
So if you're not
unemployed,
then you're worth
nothing.
Zero. And so that was hard for me, and then my wife became, the sole income, in the house, and I did a lot of pottery that summer as I looked for another job.
You guys have some amazing pots and coffee mugs around the house.
Well, my family and friends have some pots that from circa 2011,
You should sign those and then do those on the next silent auction.
Yeah, so there's some pottery floating around. It's very vintage, very limited edition. So anyway, then I got a job with 1-800-PACK-RAT.
Yeah.
And this is actually kind of a cool story. I just told my salesperson this the other day, one of the guys that works with me.
Yeah.
I was kind of mentoring him a little bit, and they signed me up wanting to be the southeastern rep for pods, and for PACK-RAT, and they wanted me to go in and get people to use PACK-RAT instead of pods, whatever. And they wanted me to do $1.5 million of business.
Okay.
Right. This is also a new position they kind of created. And they wanted me to do this 1.5, and I'm like doing the math. I'm like, okay, at $150, per month rental, that's like 10,000 containers.
Yeah.
I got to rent. That's a lot of doors I got to knock on.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work, know?
Yeah.
So I did that for like a week, and I realized, hey, this ain't scalable.
Doesn't happen.
So then I had to think, okay, what about long distance moving? Who buys chunks of long distance moving? And then I remember my national account days at Pods, and then I went and I called on some of those RMC clients. And big shout out to Tom Colucci.
Okay.
You know Tom Colucci?
I do know Tom.
Who used to be at MSI,
yeah.
right? And Lori and Tim Runyon, those people over there.
Yep.
That was my first RMC client. And they believed in us and what we were trying to do. You never forget those people that believe in you, right? And so I always shout them out to this day, because there's so many people along the way that made a decision consciously to say, you know what, I'm going to bet on this guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a little bit of my reputation on the line for this guy, right? And, so anyway, so I always try to shout him out, because it meant so much to me, because he could have said no, and then I would have been fired again, and then I would have had a whole different story. So anyway, so I did that, and I started a company called Forward Relocation over there, which was a move management company that did a lot of alternative transportation, small shipments, hard to do shipments, short notice shipments, whatever. We were actually Cardis's biggest booker 2 Junes in a row, which was kind of a cool thing to say.
That is cool.
Not many people can say that.
Yeah.
Cool thing to say, not a cool thing to do. Turns out that was actually a problem.
Yeah.
Turns out there's a reason much larger and more sophisticated moving companies were not Cardis's biggest booker 2 Junes in a row.
Yeah.
Was not a good idea. There's a reason nobody wanted those shipments, apparently. And
that's a lot of volume too. I mean, that's a ton.
It's a lot. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot. And we, like another failure, honestly, another major career failure that I learned from, and it's not about being the biggest, it's about being the best.
Yeah.
It's not about going in and grabbing a quick buck. It's about learning how to build something that's built to last over time.
Yep.
And so that actually brought me to University Moving and Storage, where I am today, who recruited me when I was there. And, that's one thing I got to say about them is they understand quality. They understand investing in the long term. I mean, the company's been around 50 years this year.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's something, right? And what a lot of key employees that have been here over 30.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so that's kind of what brought me here. And, I've known you for a while. And so when we talked about doing something like this, we've been talking about this for a minute. And, I'm just happy to be here. You ready to tell me about your story?
Sure.
Got a question?
You hit me with a question, then I'll roll.
Okay. Well, so first of all, we have to go back to the genesis.
Okay.
At least as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And you can take it further if you want to, but I'll tell you what, your mother has such a phenomenal reputation in this industry. Kathleen Bailey, who I've had the pleasure of meeting a couple of times and speaking to on the phone a couple more times. And I got to thank your mother first of all for Thomas being in my life right now. Okay. I feel like God and your mom conspired to put you in my life. So this is when I get deep and Thomas cries and stuff. But anyway, so big shout out to Kathleen Bailey. So she was in Relo for a minute, and then so how did that whole thing happen?
So my mom is Kathleen Bailey. She's been in relocation space for I don't even know how long, but I think she started doing real estate back when maybe my sister was young, and or maybe 3 or 4, and I wasn't even thought of yet. So she's been in real estate for a long time, and then she ended up.
So your whole life she's been in real estate.
Yeah, she's been in real estate to relocation, and I don't know when the transition from real estate to relocation happened, but it was when I was fairly young. So I mean, all I remember is just hearing about relocation and people moving and people's expectations and things like that, and managing that side of things. So I mean, I never thought that I would be in this industry. Like at all, like and it's not really one of those industries like people joke about it, and no one went to school for to be a relocation specialist or whatever, so it's not like something that later when I grow up I want to sell relocation, so it wasn't one of those things I even thought of like that would ever happen, I just thought I would just go do my own thing, which I tried to do, but so shout out to moms for kind of paving the way, and her name though was kind of like in the beginning I wasn't like afraid to use it, but I just didn't want to be associated. Like I didn't want.
Be honest, you didn't want to make her look bad.
Oh no, I didn't think. No, I definitely knew I would. I knew I wouldn't do that because my mother's 5. I'm not that tall. I'm 5'6". She's like 5 foot even, and I've been terrified of her my whole life. So
but she hits hard.
Yeah, she does a good flinch. Like that good little flinch. But so like but she, I knew I wouldn't. Ruin my name or hers. I knew I would not allow myself to do that, or try not to at least. But I definitely didn't want to like say, and people associate as soon as that's Kathleen Bailey's son. Because it happened a lot, especially in the beginning, like at the conferences and things like that. It'd be like, I'd get introduced as Thomas Kathleen Bailey's son. And I was like, I kind of...
Who used to introduce you like that, though?
Like anybody that worked with her. I mean, she worked at Ayers the last... 8-9 years of her career, because she just recently retired within less, so she's off and rode off in the sunset. But so people like it, people at Ayers would introduce me like that, or anybody that worked like at Real Estate One back in the day, or she was on the relocation side of that.
Oh, she was okay.
Yeah, so she was. That's why when we were here, she was back to way back when it was. A company downtown Detroit. It was something relocation. Executive relocation. Yeah.
With our friend Brad Hamlin.
Yeah, Brad Hamlin was there, worked there.
Yep.
And then it was a couple people that are definitely still in the industry right now that used to work there, and they would just automatically introduce me as that. And I mean, now it's kind of like everybody knows, and it's not a big deal. But I definitely kind of over the years I've made it my own name.
Yeah.
So I was happy. I was able to do that.
Dare I say maybe you eclipsed her in some way.
It took a long time and a lot of hard work too.
As soon as you admit that, she might punch you in your chest over dinner, right?
Right. It's all of a sudden did I hear you
say on a podcast that you
did you say out loud that you eclipsed me? Did you agree with that?
No, Ben said that.
Yeah, punch Ben. But no, so back to the beginning, like because you started your story started early. So I'll go back early, way back in time. So I'll start like high school. It's like right around when you said that when you were in high school you were going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And I was exact same way. I just didn't like school. School didn't like me so much.
Well, there's a lot of people there, right?
That are just. I mean, I just didn't. There's so much stuff going on. You're trying to fit into these little cool cliques and things like that. I'm just not worried about math and English right now, and I just didn't want to do it. I wanted to do everything else I want. I thought that, because, I don't know about now. I'm sure it's probably the same. But when I was in high school, like, to be the smart kid wasn't necessarily the coolest thing.
I think some of that might be changing, as we're looking at, like, the nerds that are running these tech billion-dollar unicorn companies, and they're
like Mark
cashing out.
Zuckerberg took a big chunk out of that.
Yeah, you think
like,
Elon Musk was like Mr. Cool Dude, captain of the football
I
team?
think he probably might have been though. He looks like he was probably cool back in the day.
I don't know, man. Have you seen his back in the day? Back in the day?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah, he's cool
So
now.
I see him now.
Yeah, he's Tony Stark now, but back in the day, he was not.
He was not Tony Stark.
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely went the wrong direction and was just trying to do everything to be the coolest person I could be, and it made life pretty tough at that moment. But so I was gonna graduate high school. My mom's probably gonna kill me for saying this, but so I'm about to graduate high school, and my mom's like, "Okay, so what are you gonna do about this college thing? You know, which one? Like, you know, pick one. Your grades kind of suck, but you know, pick one, right?" And I was like, I just looked right at her and it was like, you know, Mom, college isn't for everybody, you know. I don't.
I would have punched you.
The most like I felt the more fear at that moment than I ever had in my life. And so,
but I like how you heard that somewhere and you thought, okay, this is what I'm gonna roll with, because you knew you were gonna have to answer that question at some point.
I went with it.
Like, yo, this sounds really good. It's not for everyone, Mom.
I don't even know that I wasn't even rehearsed that. Like that off the top, I just said, you know what, you know, school's not for everybody, you know, and I just don't want to waste your money. Like that's what I told her. It was really bad, and it was a dumb decision, but I don't regret it because you know things pan out.
Worked out.
Yeah, and so.
Well, going back though, had you gone to college, do you think it would have helped you or not helped you or better?
I don't know.
Or worse,
at the time, I don't think that's what I meant. To be honest, at the time, I don't think that college.
Did you not have the maturity level?
Not a chance.
Because you were kind of like in a space like I was in, where we were doing a lot of the wrong things, and
no way I could have gone to college or university and had the freedom that they have, and done the right thing with it.
Right.
Not a chance. And so after I graduated, she's like, "Good job." I did. It was like a valet thing, and I worked there for a couple of years.
Valet cars, which is like the first mile of car
relocation.
Yeah, for sure.
I was actually getting in the cars then, you know. So I worked there for about 2 years, and then I got a job working at DTE here, the electric company. Worked there as a meter reader for a bit. And then,
what? Really? I didn't know any of this.
Yes, I was like in backyard. That's why I have like this weird thing with dogs. Like I'm kind of like, I'm not scared of dogs, but like
you're scared of dogs.
If I go to sleep and dream about dogs, it's a bad dream. You know, because I got some crazy meter reader stories, bro.
Oh my goodness.
I've knocked like a dog's tooth out. Not like because I wanted to.
Could have been the other way around. Could have been you.
It could have been better him than me. You know, she don't agree with him. But but then at all this time, I was still like, I like the fact that you decided, in high school, like, I'm going the wrong direction. I need to change. I didn't do that. I was like, I like this direction. So I grew up in the Detroit area, like outside of Detroit. So we lived in a nice little neighborhood and all that. But I always glorified like the hood feel, I glorified.
I did too.
I glorified the guys with the nice cars and the rims and the whatever, So I was like, well, if I get a chance to be like that, that's the way I'm gonna go, And I just so happened to meet a few people that were all much older than me, and they were like, you're cool, come hang with us, And I went down this road for a real long time. Only thing that like actually pulled me out of it was my girlfriend at the time was pregnant, and we found out it was a girl. Number one, I was like traumatized because I wanted a boy. I was like, I had to like check myself. Okay, as long as my baby's healthy, we're good. So as soon as I realized it was a girl, then I knew I had to make it. Like, I just wanted to make a change. So I was like, I got a job at a church.
So you went completely 180
of what I was doing. Church, right? And my mother came. She was living in Massachusetts. She worked with MSI at the time. MSI Mobility. So she worked with them at the time, and then she came back to visit, saw my 2-month-old baby. I'm trying my best to make it work.
So you're in Detroit,
I'm in Detroit.
She's in Massachusetts
because she had relocated. Mm-hmm. And so she comes back. She sees I'm like $10 an hour. Like I'm just trying to make it work, and it was not a good look, And she's like, hey, you should just come to Massachusetts. It's different there. Just try it out. Honestly, just come give it a whirl. And just kind of start over if you can. Mm-hmm. And I said, sure. I asked my girlfriend at the time, like, hey, you want to try it out? She's like, sure, whatever.
And this was like Hanover, Massachusetts, where their office is?
No.
Hampton, New Hampshire?
No, they were in Newburyport at the time.
Oh, they were in Newburyport.
So they were like prime location off the water.
Off the water.
So when we came to visit, it was just perfect. Like, this is great. Like, absolutely, I live off the water any day. And my mom, she actually lived off the water too, so it was actually pretty nice. So I said yes. I'd try it out. Moved out there with her.
And so your girlfriend came too.
But then once I realized that she agreed to leave her family with our daughter and just go somewhere brand new for both of us, I went and bought a ring and proposed the day before I left, because I left before her. I proposed. She said yes. I said, if you're stupid enough to leave with me and go to this place we don't know, then you deserve to be married.
Then you deserve me.
You deserve me.
Dumb enough.
You deserve me.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't say that, but
you were thinking it, and she was too.
She must have been. Yeah, she was down for the cause. So we moved out there, and this is the part of the story I like, because it was just polar opposite. Like, kid from Detroit, like Jordans, baggy pants, everything you could think of, like a kid from Detroit or in the area would do. And I'm like walking around just, excuse my my racial talk here, but like just a whole bunch of white people that had just so far removed.
Culture shock.
Culture shock, like real quick.
Which is a real thing in relocation too.
But it was a cool thing.
Oh yeah, remember, people relocate all the time.
That's the other part.
To the south, to the urban center, to China, to wherever. Culture shock.
And that's just a side note to that. Then I know, like, a lot of times, like, in relocation, we do our jobs every day where we just go through the motions, but then we forget though that that some of these people that are acting a little crazy, a little asking too many questions or whatever, nervous. They're panicking too. Because some of these women and men who are relocating, their families have to deal with all this other stuff. And some people don't deal with it. Like, I wanted to move there. Yeah. Imagine like having to move with your spouse and you just don't want to go, or moving with your parents and you just don't want to be there.
Oh, I know. I mean, it happens all the time. Then you have failed relocations.
Yeah.
And then
And so some of those relocation companies that are going out of their way to make sure that the families settle. I mean, those will be the ones that, I think they'll make it through all these, all the ups and downs. The
companies that are paying for those benefits, because they realize, hey, we're relocating the whole person.
Right.
Companies are looking at employees like whole people, and not just that 9-to-5 person, and not just the part that they bring to work, but the part that they're anchored to at home, and family being the foundation. Yeah. You got to take care of the whole person.
And I went to Pacific Northwest Relocation Council last month. And they had a panel of disruptors, and one of them was the linguistics. What are those companies called? The
language training.
Language training companies that support relocation, and she's really new to it, so she was just super excited about it. But I guess like some of the numbers of the failed relocation or failed hires come from when somebody goes to a different country and they only give them, I think it was like 100 hours or something like that of training. Of language training. And I guess like in studies show that you need like 3 or 4 times that in order to even be able to speak about like simple things like needing to go places and open doors and ask people for what's on the menu.
And such a high percentage of people don't even take the language and cultural training that they're offered. I think it was like 75-80% or something don't even take it. So you have to almost mandate it if you're an employer, because you know better than they know that they need it.
Right, and then if you get hired into a company that only cares enough just to make sure you get that 100, then there's a big chance that that's just going to be a failed relocation, and you may end up without a job because your situation. So
did you get language training when you went to Newburyport?
I did get language training. So I didn't get language training, but I picked up pretty quick. It took me a few years to change the wardrobe a little bit and kind of tighten the clothes up.
To get your boat shoes. And
I got some boat shoes.
And your seersuckers.
I ended up getting Sperry's and everything. Oh, man. But So
you went out to Newburyport, and then what happened?
Went out to Newburyport, looking for a job. I did like you did, went back to live with mommy, But this time I had my girlfriend, my fiance, and a kid.
And a baby.
So I went up to you. Got a job. So I got a job on a Sunday. I started the job on Sunday at Honeydew Donuts, a donut shop.
Make me hungry.
Right? A donut shop. Worked there 7 days in a row, like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all the way through Sunday. Because the guy just kept calling me, you want to work? So I said, sure. 7 days in a row, right? And then, but I also got a job, like during that week, they hired me at Lowe's. So I started Lowe's on Monday. So it's Sunday through Sunday, and then Monday I started at Lowe's and quit the Honeydew job. Worked at Lowe's for 2 months, and while I was working at Lowe's, I interviewed at Reload Trans because MSI was one of Reload Trans' clients and still is. But my mom worked for MSI, so she knows Frank Pedito. So she's like,
Purple
Don, Frank
Shout
Pedito. Do you have any job openings? Because my son's looking for a job, and he just happened to go, sure, we're growing, because they started in 2003. This was 2007. So he's like, yeah, sure.
So this is almost about the same time where I started my first gig.
Yes, you were 2006 and 2007. So
because I went to college and you did, so we almost kind of like
we
synced up.
I went to Hard Knocks.
Yeah,
and you went to like
you did. Yeah.
So Purple Don gave me a shot, which was funny because he made me write on a piece of paper because I had no professional background at all. He made me write a mock email on a piece of paper.
He didn't even give you a keyboard.
No, he was like, just write like.
Did he make you do like cursive too?
No, he just wanted me to see like if I could. He's like,
put a business
I can see you can talk.
together.
Can you at least like whatever? So it worked out. He hired me, and then so I was there for like 3-4 months, and finally started working at Reload Trans, and been there since. So that's so I started at Reload Trans as a coordinator, relocation coordinator, just pick things up, put them down, and just doing the whole process with that. And then a guy, the sales job opened up, and to talk about like the failure part. I mean, you have you ever gone for a job within your organization and just didn't get it, and you're
all the time
so hurt, offended.
Yeah.
Like, how could you?
And you want to leave the company because you're like, well, obviously I have no upside here.
You don't respect my gangster.
Exactly.
So I went for the sales job, didn't get it. This other guy got it. How dare they? But he was there for like 2 years longer.
What's he doing now?
I
love calling people out.
So he was there for he was there for a little bit.
Bet you done shipped 10,000 cars.
He moved off of. So he's. I can't even.
Does
say.
he?
Sorry, I'm sure
he ended up
getting. Oh, he didn't get he ended up quitting. Because it just wasn't working out. And then, but it was like at the perfect timing. I was ready. I had been there for 2 years almost, and I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And they're like, "You're already doing half of what he was doing anyway, so just go ahead." So I started in 2009-ish or whatever in sales, and then went to business development manager, and now I'm director of client development. You like that?
Fancy.
You like
Rolls
that?
off the tongue.
Yeah, I like that.
Director of client
development. What's that mean,
Develop those clients.
What
does it mean?
It means I do sales and I do account management, son.
Wow.
Yeah, that's tough.
How do you do it all?
I don't know, man. I was gonna ask you the same thing. Because in your role right now, actually, you're probably in the same. What's your title? VP of Business Development, right?
Vice President Business Development. Yep.
Vice President. But at the same time,
I say it out.
How much of your day-to-day is account management?
Oh, a huge part.
Right.
I don't do as much quote unquote prospecting and new client development as I do, making people happy
and keeping
our current customers.
Yeah, because of what they say, it costs more to get a client than it is.
Something costs 12 times more to get a new client than it is to keep a client.
Yeah, so that's the boat I'm in now too. I've been doing the same thing for a long time. It's just a different title now, so it's pretty cool though. And I love though. I don't look back as much as I probably should just to see how far you've really come. Like what they say, like if you put a frog in water and slowly raise the heat, it won't even know it's boiling.
I do the boiling lobster. Yeah,
boiling lobster
same deal,
thing.
Right?
But it is. Do you ever look up and like, wow, this is crazy? Like
all the time.
Like I don't even know
all
how
the
this
time.
Is happening.
I talk to my wife. I look at my wife and I'm like, baby, shocked we have these two amazing little boys.
Yeah.
B, this house is unreal.
His house is crazy.
Well, it's not crazy.
It's not,
I live on a golf course,
which is crazy.
Which is crazy to me. I don't even play golf, but I love it. I go out back and I'm just like, as far as I can see, I got the fairway.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. I used to I grew up in an apartment. I didn't even have my mom never owned a house. The whole time I was growing up. She didn't own a house until after 9/11. They moved from New York back to Dallas because her building got bombed out. And they bought a house in 2012. In 2002.
She worked in World Trade?
She worked in the financial district down in Wall Street area.
Oh.
And they got blown out. And she was commuting 2.5 hours to Hartford, Connecticut. and my stepfather was commuting 2.5 hours to Massapequa Park
Wow.
from White Plains, New York.
Yeah.
And they went to 14 funerals in 2 weeks. Yeah, and so anyway, long and short of it was that was the first time they bought a house when they moved to Dallas, and actually just paid it off this year. But point is, I've never lived in a house that my parents have owned. My dad owned a house, but they were separated, whatever. But so anyway, my point is and I just bought my first house last year
at 35,
35, and I honestly bought too big of a house. Because it's kicking my butt right now. All these home improvements, the joys of home ownership right now are crushing me.
Yeah, I just.
You made the leap.
Yeah, 34. So.
How are you loving it, millennial?
Man, I millennials are buying homes left and right like hotcakes. Go figure. We're 30 something.
Well, what happens?
It's so weird though. Yeah. Millennials don't buy houses. At the time, we were 28. Yeah. That's what happens.
I'll tell you what though, me and my wife look back on renting and we're like, you know what? There was something to that.
I've heard more and more people of high wealth, they don't buy anymore. They're just not buying because they don't feel like it's worth it. I mean, okay, if you're in New York,
well, it appreciates as an asset, but it also you put a lot of cash into it.
Yes.
So if you look at it net, does it outperform your portfolio? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never done the analysis. I'm not even good with money. But I'm somebody out there that is good with money.
Portfolio,
put it in the comments.
What?
If you put $100,000 into a house and knowing you have to put $1,000 in repairs annually into it and upkeep, does it outperform $1,000 in the market, getting anywhere from 7 to 12%, depending on the economy, with no servicing the equity? You don't service equity, so I'd love to hear an analysis that doesn't just tell me that home ownership is the American dream. Because I sense that with all these repairs I'm making, I'm not getting.
It feels great. I mean, it feels great though.
It's cool.
I mean, it does feel like the American dream.
Oh yeah. And the home you can rent for what I'm paying for a mortgage, because that's what they're going for, by the way. Homes to rent, single family houses to rent are a fortune.
Yeah.
Especially in this area where there's no inventory of them. I was depressed. When I moved to Michigan, I was depressed at the housing options.
Renting is nuts.
Coming from North Carolina, what I was able to rent, I was able to rent a 3-2 house that it was like a townhouse, but it was like a house.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2,300 square foot for $1,650.
Yeah, that's great.
You know what I mean? I came here. I tried to rent something comparable in Farmington Hills, which is
3,500 or something like that.
It was like 3,400.
And I can't even when people talk about that,
crazy.
When you travel a lot for and talk to a lot of people in the relocation space.
Yeah.
When you hear people talk about how much rent is in San Francisco, I don't even understand how people live. $6,000 a month for a 2,000 square foot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a 1,500 square foot place.
What they're trying to do is they're trying to get in. They're trying to be in the right place at the right time. There's a gold rush out there right now in San Francisco, and they're trying to be at the right place at the right time. Get in with the right company. Put in there 5 years, 10 years while they're 20 to 32.
Mm.
Then start making $250,000 a year, and then being able to write their ticket because they came out of Silicon Valley, like you would be if you came out of finance in New York back in the day, and then go somewhere cheaper or have their own business or whatever. Yeah. I mean that's the dream I think out there, and so everybody's just
crazy though.
Eating ramen, living with 3 roommates, and postponing having kids and getting married. Yeah. But I get it though. I mean there's no better time to take a shot on yourself. Bet on yourself.
In your 20s.
Yeah, in your 20s. I mean,
could
you sleep on the couch right now? And so I say, hey, you know what, Ben? Let's start this business, and hey, man, let's move in together and sleep on the couch, and
no way.
Our wives,
couldn't
even do that,
right? No, the kids will be sleeping on the floor together.
So there's that sweet spot. There's that sweet spot, and I've thought about this quite a bit actually. Right? There's that sweet spot coming out of college. Don't start a business because you don't know anything. Yeah, you don't know anything about anything. You don't have skills that are marketable. You don't even know enough about an industry.
Unless you dropped out of college because your business is doing.
You dropped out of college. You spent 4 years learning a business, and then you decided at 22 you wanted to start that same business for yourself and get an SBA loan. Okay, cool. but spend 2 to 4 years learning a business,
Yeah.
whether you start at 18 or 22, and then when you are 22 or, what am I saying? Then when you're like 22, 24, 26 area, then you go in and you take a shot on yourself, and then you have 5, 6 years to figure it out. And then at 32, you can hop on Match, Tinder, Plenty of Fish, whatever the kids are using these days.
Get you a lady.
Get a lady,
Or a
and then
fella.
say, hey, let's, or a fella, and like say, hey, let's do this, and
Yeah.
and then and then you got a little something.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every generation did that, though. I mean, because at all the conferences and things, you hear people talk about all the millennials this, millennials that. I mean, every generation had.
Well, it
had
used
some
to be you come out of school and you try to get a job at IBM, and then you work there for 40 years, or you get a job at the Ford plant,
Right.
and then you work with the union, and then you work there for 40 years, and if you do good, they give you the Rolex, you got a pension, you got the white picket fence, and it's all good, right? But that doesn't happen anymore.
No.
I mean, even the value proposition has changed. Companies don't give employees the same things they used to give them, so employees don't give companies the same things they used to give them.
Right.
So it's like both sides of the equation kind of thing, and the whole millennials or job hoppers thing is just like so played out. I mean, case in point with you, how long you been at Relotrans?
12 years.
12 years with the same company.
Yeah.
First real company, I mean, you job hop from Honeydew to Lowe's.
Yeah, that was
And,
that doesn't count.
The DTE's still mad that you're not, running from dogs in the backyards of Detroit reading meters. But I mean, honestly, these first real jobs you got, like in a real office, you stuck with it for 12 years, worked your way up from the bottom, to management, to senior leadership, and so.
But that doesn't happen often. I mean, that doesn't happen very often. I think it
doesn't happen very often because who stays with them that long to find out?
Or most companies don't. I feel like I'm lucky or blessed or whatever you want to call it to be at a company where I felt like there was some growth and I didn't have to. There was the ceiling was. It's a smaller company, so I mean the ceiling was closed, but I knew that I felt like I could make my way to where I needed to be and feel comfortable, And in most companies, you don't feel that way. Like, I mean, I've never worked for a mover, but I'm sure that there's plenty of people that just don't feel like they need to make a change so they can, maybe another company will let them try something different. Like, I mean, to get to where you were, I'm sure you had to throw some ideas at people. In this industry, I've heard many people that had great ideas and had to leave their companies because that company didn't want to hear their new, fresh idea or whatever. So they had to change. I feel like I got lucky in a company that they heard my ideas, liked them, and they, rewarded me for it.
Well, you also were way more patient than me. I think that's the thing too. Like when I would go into these meetings and I have all these ideas about how we should change things and processes and whatever, I would get shut down a lot, back in the day, because I was 25, 20, whatever.
Right.
And
let's go to the moon.
And nobody I'm like, let's build a rocket. And people are like, hey man, I get off in like 30 minutes. I'm not trying to hear that.
I ain't building no rocket today.
I'm not trying to get fired trying to build a rocket with you. I got,
right.
A kid in college over here, so I don't have the same risk tolerance that you have.
Yeah.
Calm down with that. And so ultimately I was like, there's no future for me. I gotta go somewhere else. With you, you kind of hung in there. You had patience and you had loyalty. You had a lot of the same trappings that previous generations had. I think.
Yeah, I got. For some reason, I feel like a boomer at times.
Well, yeah. I mean, but also that's because your mentor is ultimate boomer guy.
Yeah, he's the ultimate boomer.
Frank.
The purple dime is the ultimate.
But let's go back to this, right? So for people that are watching this right now, I want to talk about what are the keys to success, right? Mm-hmm. What are the keys, right? And major key alert.
Major key. I'm ready to hear this.
But let's talk about that, right? Because we're both what I would call successful. I think in our field, we're still pretty young, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm hesitant to call it this early,
right?
I think we're doing all right. Our phone's blowing up with friends and family. That means I'm doing something right. So what are some of the keys? And I'll go first, right?
Go ahead.
I'll let you think about that. But you talk about putting ideas out there, right? Always having ideas is great. but executing ideas is more important, right? Anybody can have a great idea, you know. It's executing on it and being able to operationalize it, being able to deliver it, and then being able to actually sell it, you know, internally and externally.
Yeah.
That's huge. You know, I think so many people struggle with that in our industry, right? The whole thing a few years ago was how do we get a seat at the table? And that really means how do I get people to take me seriously, listen to my ideas, and sign off on it?
Yeah.
And when I hear that, to me, that's a, you know, an internal credibility issue. That's an internal social capital issue that you have in your company, where people don't listen to you, or they don't. Maybe it's a respect issue.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's they're so afraid of losing their own job and taking a risk.
Right.
But I mean, then going back to, I don't believe that if I put my social capital dollars on you, you're going to give me a positive return on that. So that goes back to people don't believe in you. So how do you inspire that confidence? You know, and I think one of the things that helped me and hurt me at different times in my career was consistency. Right? When I'm at my worst, I'm inconsistent. I'm hot and cold. People don't know where I'm coming from with things. When I'm at my best, I'm super consistent. I'm a rock. People can look to that. They can rely on it.
Yeah.
So I think consistency is one of the things I've been challenged with and I've struggled with throughout my career. So I would say, you know, be very consistent. Consistency is akin to greatness. Consistency also takes discipline, but it also I think people are comfortable with it when they know where you come from, who you are as a person, and then you can deliver consistently.
Yeah.
What do you think?
For me, I like the part that you talked about being able to operationalize things or getting people to sign off internally. Unless you're out on your own just running a startup from scratch on your own, then you don't have to worry about anybody signing off on anything. But for the most part, in this world, you're going to have other people involved in your decision making or within your company. So if you can't get the guy sitting next to you at the table just to say, yeah, I think that's a good idea, or let's give this a shot, or at least hearing your idea and maybe tweaking it. And that's also part of it too. I used to have ideas, and I just thought that my idea this one way was the only way that it was going to work. And then even if somebody came in and kind of agreed with the idea and maybe wanted to change it a little bit, I'd fight because no, then it's not going to be the same thing. But then
I've seen this happen, by the way. I've seen this happen.
So having some flexibility, with your ideas, because ideas are the only way that things get done ever. You got to have the idea and then to be able to run with it. So getting people to sign off with internally is huge to me, because when I wasn't, as soon as I was able to start to realize I had to also sell the people that, in my company.
Yeah.
That's when I started. That's when changes started happening. That's when we started rolling out new ideas at Reload Trans.
So let's talk about that, selling other people in the company. So I would be in a meeting and we'd start talking about something, and I'd be like, oh, I got a great idea. What if we did it this way? I think this is the best way to do it. And I'd come in really strong,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be some crazy idea, and it would just blow up, and everybody would just lose their mind, oh, that's crazy, we can't do that, we couldn't possibly. And then I'd get into a fight, and then I'd be like, no, you don't understand, let's and you start having it out. And then one of the biggest epiphanies for me is the meeting before the meeting.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Have the meeting
before the meeting. And this is how the politicians do it. They back channel. That's what they call it on House of Cards, right? You got to back channel a little bit. So it's hey man, here's what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring this up. What do you think? Oh, you like it? Okay, cool. Hey, when I bring this up, I really need you to support this. You got this? Cool. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. And then do a little bit of that. And then all of a sudden you bring up this wild and crazy idea. And then other people start yeah, I like that. Oh yeah, what if we did that? And then all of a sudden you get this quorum.
It's not so much of a cold sale.
Yeah.
You kind of warm up the room a little bit, even if the person that's really going to make the decision at the end has no idea.
Yeah.
But if the whole team is on board or seems like they kind of like this, then at least it can go into tweaking mode,
Yeah.
And then
tweaking mode is really let's just figure it out.
Let's just figure this thing out.
Yeah.
And I had to realize that though, because tweaking mode doesn't mean no. Tweaking mode means we like your idea, and we just have to make it work.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that. I wanted to be that.
You want? Oh my God, Thomas, that's the most amazing idea I've ever heard. Let's stop everything right now. let's go do that.
We're gonna stop shipping cars altogether because Thomas's idea is amazing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know that for a long time because like I just thought that you would just this is an ideas room. Let's just drop ideas on the table.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not how it works.
Well, and also if you have like 5 great ideas a day, if you have five meetings a day and every meeting has a great idea, and then you have 5 great ideas a day, you can't as an organization go out and do 5. You know, that's like 2-1. That's like 1,000 great ideas every calendar year.
Yeah.
Like you can't do that. Like, that's not. You can't operationalize that, right?
Yeah.
So here's another one for you. What about this one? Planting seeds.
Oh yeah. Sometimes you got to just throw out those little gems to people. And then because some of the ideas we did, like we do texting directly to the customer, and we started doing that like 5 years ago before it was even cool. And I said that 7 years ago. Like I just dropped it, and then and then every now and then, man, the texting would be great. And then it just kept going on. And one day we had it, we dropped it, and then our clients absolutely love it, and everybody uses it.
Yeah, you plant that seed. The first time it's just, wouldn't it be fun if we did this?
Right.
And then, wouldn't it be cool if we did that? And then you keep saying it over and over, and you create your own little echo chamber.
That also works at marriage.
Because now they've heard it like 8 times.
That also works
for anybody. It works for anybody.
You can just drop an idea like, oh man, I'm really.
I've been planting the seed about a podcast for 2 years with Thomas. So
2 years.
It finally came to fruition. Look at that.
It might have been 1 year.
Anyway, so, but I mean that's the point, right? Plant seeds, and then you come back and you water it every once in a while. Plant it and water it. You know what I mean? So you're not actually going for the close day one. I think a lot of people, what they do is like, I got this great idea. I'm going to present it to my boss. I'm going to give him all the reasons why it's good. I'm going to give him a couple reasons why it's not. I'm going to say, here's what's going to cost us to do it. And then I'm going to ask him to believe in this. We're going to do it.
He's going to say yes, and then I'm going to get a raise.
Bro, don't go for the close day one.
No, you
can't. It's like asking your wife's hand in marriage on the first date.
Yeah.
No, you got to go in there and you got to give them the polite introduction to the idea. Hey, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? Next day, or 3 days later, or a week later, or whatever. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? And then there's going to be a meeting 3 weeks later where there's going to be a problem that's presented.
And it's perfect.
And this idea is the perfect solution to it.
Everybody already kind of knows
it's not the first time you brought it up. No. So instead of exploding the room, it fits like a glove.
They're like, oh, yeah.
We've been talking. Or no, they're not even. They come up with the idea.
Oh, remember when Ben said?
No, they don't even remember when Ben. Trust me. All the best ideas I've not even gotten credit for. It's we really ought to do this now, and then I get to be like, you know what? You're right.
That
does sound good.
Yep. There's no way. I'm like, remember I brought that up the other day? Oh yeah. I still got to throw my jab in there.
Yeah.
And one of the other things too that you got to be true to yourself too. I mean, you have to know what you are good at, and what you're not. Mm-hmm. And then surround yourself with people that will help you, realize your goals. I mean, what they call it, have the mastermind. So I mean, you got to have a group of friends or people within your organization that are also like-minded that will help you, and you guys help each other get to where you have to get to. Because if you're just trying to do everything on your own, kind of the same feel of just dropping the bomb in the conference room. But if you try to do everything on your own and just climb a ladder within the company, that's not how it works. If you're gonna get to be the head of the company, you have to be able to use and help people and all that good stuff.
I call it like it's like your wolf pack or your tribe or whatever. And people talk about cliques and everything, like they're a bad thing. But I look at it as like, if we're a pod of like-minded people, whether it be cross company like Thomas and I, and or be within your company, and you can go to lunch together and share ideas, or you can hang out, have a drink, or go, do something together after work, and then you start to brainstorm and workshop these ideas, right? Because, let's face it, at work we're like slaves to our email, and we just new message. Oh, we're very reactive mode, right?
Yeah.
But when you go to lunch or you go after work and you hang out, now you're in like strategic what if mode.
Yeah.
And now you can react to your own inspirations instead of reacting to other people's whims, like emails. And so to me, I've always had so much of my success has been attributed to creating little groups of people that I trust, that I have camaraderie with at work, and spending an inordinate amount of time after work when I was a single man, mostly, frankly, around a beer or something, talking about the problems at work, but we weren't complaining about we were complaining a little bit, but we were also here's a problem, we got to fix it. This is ridiculous. We can do better. Yeah, how do we solve for this?
There's an absolute difference between complaining about, because there are groups of people in offices that get around, all they do is complain and gripe.
Oh, for sure.
And all that. But there's some constructive criticism of the way things are happening. Yeah. With the right group of people, and that's the key word, is the right group of people.
The right group of people. And what is the right group of people?
The right group of people.
How do we know it's the right group of people?
Yeah, I mean, you just have to figure it out.
You got to have aligned goals. You got to have the same goals, right? I'm trying to move up. I'm trying to be somebody.
And aligned goals for the company as well. I mean, because if somebody has their own goals, just straight out, and they're only for themselves, I mean, those people will never be a type of person that will be able to help you at all, because they're not looking to help you.
Yes. Okay. So they have to have similar goals. They also have to be willing to give and help you as much as you're willing to help them, right? Because you can't be on one side.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Exactly. In the Bible they talk about being unequally yoked, right? So if you're hanging out with people that are at one level or one mindset, you're at another level or another mindset. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. So surround yourself with people. And I think generally in life, I mean, there's people you're gonna want to be. You're going to have family, you're going to have friends, you're going to have people that you grew up with that you feel a loyalty to, or you're connected to because of a blood relationship or whatever, and you want to honor those relationships and keep those people in your life. And you can to some degree, but you also have to recognize when those relationships are holding you back a little bit. Yeah. And you have to be willing to kind of compartmentalize that relationship. And you have to be willing to deal with some of the fallout of that too, and some of the things they're going to say about you, about how
I mean, sometimes you just hope. I mean, hopefully in life, I mean, the goal in life is to. Unfortunately, you're going to outgrow people. Hopefully for you.
To some extent.
To some extent, yeah. I mean, you don't have to cut people off all the way, but you just don't have to certain people I grew up with and used to hang out with. I just don't go hang out with anymore.
Well, and there are people who are detrimental to you.
Those people you just gotta. Who cares what they say? Cut them off. You gotta. Even at the job, there's people that are toxic, and they just want to, and they really just bring you down every time you walk away. They're battery drainers instead of battery chargers. Yeah. You gotta walk away from those people just flat out. Like you say, hi, bye, help me if you can, but other than that, you just gotta move on. Yeah. But I just kind of wanted to segue into something. I had a question for you. Okay. So now we're talking about with the career, and then now we're talking about surrounding yourself with the right people. We've been friends for quite some time, I feel like.
You have a date on this. What's the date? 13?
Yeah, probably 13. Like I am in DC. So probably 2013. I was like, you came in and it was like something's different with that guy. I think I didn't like you at first though.
Nobody likes me at first.
I mean, because I was like, dude, back up, but like,
what was it? What was it about me you don't think you liked at first? Seriously, articulate that.
Well, no, I didn't know. Like I said, this was on the last thing. I didn't know that Ben was. I didn't know that it was real. I didn't know that like.
Did it come off as inauthentic to you?
It did.
I somewhat struggled with in my life.
But the funny part, you shouldn't struggle with it. Like other people have to struggle with that. That's their fault. That's their problem. It's not because you are. If you are being inauthentic and you're not being real, then maybe you should work on that. But if that's you, which it is, and I know that for sure. Whether you're dressed like this at a conference or at home, you're the same guy. So you are as authentic as it comes. So you shouldn't work on anything. People just got to take it how it is sometimes. Right. I mean, and then depending on your situation, I'm sure you soften whatever you need to make sure you can get the deal done. Mm-hmm. But so anyway, so my question to you is, since we've been, how have I affected your life, career, anything? I mean, because I do know for sure that you don't have. I don't feel like you have a bunch of stray friends, and I don't at all. Like I don't have stray like random friends that I just hey, I haven't talked to you in 2 months. Hey, how are you doing? Like I feel like you have somewhat of a circle of friends that you have for reasons, and I definitely do. But I'd like to hear what I've done possibly that helped you in your life.
Well, I do have a lot of stray friends.
You do have a lot of stray friends?
I do, because I bring a lot of people close, and honestly, but that's just so funny because you know me really well, and I know you really well. But a lot of your like assumptions about me are like way off. Because you know what you project your own style and like way of doing things onto me.
No, I mean, I feel like you have like friend, like okay. So when you say friend, let's describe inbox here.
Well, define friends.
Define friends. I mean, like
people I would hang out with outside of work. Is that fair? Is that friends?
I guess. But, I mean, maybe not.
People I would spend discretionary time with.
Yeah, sure. Like having the house all the time.
In the house is, intimate, but
Yeah, like close friends. That's what I meant.
I mean, I tend to be kind of an open book, like with people. Like if I'm open, I'm a very open person.
Okay, all right. So note to anybody listening:
if you want to come over to my house,
if you want a new friend, there's your guy.
I'm very friendly. So anyway,
right,
but as far as what you brought to me, well, first of all, you're my wolf pack.
Okay.
Right. When it comes to, like in the industry, right? Like,
yep.
Like if you see us at a conference, there's a good chance like we're together.
Yeah, we're the Rat Pack for a little bit.
Yeah, we were the Rat Pack for a little bit.
Sammy.
You were Sammy, and I was. I think I was a blow to D Martin.
Yes.
Anyway, whatever.
Blow to Parliament.
Well, because Tony was Frank.
Yeah, Tony was Frank. So
it really broke up. The Rat Pack broke up.
Tony.
It was a lot of.
Tony should be right here.
Yeah, just people. Yeah, we went solo, and everybody broke up. We got a little big headed, but anyway.
No drugs involved. Though.
Yeah. So, but as far as what you've done I think you've challenged, whether you realize it or not, and whether it was your intention. I'm probably sure it wasn't your intention, but you've, I think, challenged me to be a better person. Professionally and personally, and let's use the social game, right, as the most obvious way, right. So you've challenged me to make more videos. You challenged me to step up the quality of my videos, because I wasn't about to let Thomas make a better video than me, So and he had Barry Sanders in his video, so I was like, I better come with it because right. I don't have a celebrity in my video. So I was like, okay, I need to step this up. I need to be better. And then I think that you've also been an example for me on like making better, like healthier decisions, like for myself. Right. You've made some really, really strong decisions, that I'm like, again, by example, I'm like, well, man, okay, that's on the table now. That right. wasn't on the table for me before. Right. Maybe I should look at that. Maybe I should experiment with that. See if that works for me. So that's cool. And then I think just being a confidant in a way, because we have such shared experiences. Yeah. We go to the same conferences. We have a lot of the same clients. We're a similar age. We have some similar experiences from like growing up and context and stuff, and I think to some degree similar values. So I can talk to you, I think, in a way that I can't really talk to just about anybody else. That'll really understand where I'm coming from. That circle is very small. Yeah. Of people whose Venn diagram kind of overlaps in the same way that ours does. And so that's a very tight circle for sure. So I think those are probably the three ways, maybe. Yeah. So and then I'll share what you've done.
Sure,
please. I love these types.
And I like that. And I did project probably on you, because I think the funny part with me is that really close, tight knit, the people that I'll talk to in a very intimate way. That's my circle, and then anybody else outside of that, for me, like, is just kind of like. I mean, they're friends, but it's like you're almost acquaintance. I mean, not that cold, but it's just. You're saying there's a bigger distance between the circle and the outer ring. Yeah, it's not like just like close friends and then hang out every like if I won't hang out with you every day if you're not really close to this type. Well, to be clear, Thomas doesn't hang on me every day either. Yeah, I know. I moved to Farmington, Michigan, to be close to Thomas. And the only time we see each other is ERC. Yeah, you literally were like, so I'm thinking about taking a job here, and I just want to know that I got somebody here that I can hang out with. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then next time I saw you, it was a year later at a conference. I've been here 3 years. I've never been to his house. Well, no, but I didn't like. We're using the house yardstick as our I didn't like my measuring. House. I didn't like my other house, and so you're invited to this one already. You just haven't come yet. I did invite you, didn't I?
No.
Damn.
I invited myself, and you told me not to come yet. You still working on some tile or something.
Yeah. I wanted you. My whole. Okay, so what you've done for me, right?
Back to what
like,
we were talking about.
I don't necessarily want to impress other people that much, you know. Like, I mean, obviously, I want to put on a good face for whoever, or just present my best self, you know. But you, because we're so alike in so many different ways and upbringing and all that, and career paths and so far, I feel like I always wanted to. If you did something cool or great, I kind of wanted to be there as well. Not to compete with you, but just you pushed me without kind of knowing it. I mean, you pushed me straight up and said dude, you've been very vocal about like some of the things that like I shouldn't do. But it was some of those are really some of those are like really uncomfortable conversations for me because they just were. But
those are the best conversations.
But I needed it.
Because my boy called me last night, and he's like, I've been thinking about if I should tell you this or not, and I'm just going to tell you, and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, you're really bad with money, and you should be ashamed of yourself, and you got to get better. And I'm like, thanks, man.
Okay. But every time I walked away, I mean, because the good part about yours was like you always said very very nice things about me, and very you had the big dreams for me, not like big
well, they're all true, man.
But and I was like, no, I can't. I could never do that because I wasn't in control of me, so I knew for sure I couldn't go do what Ben said I could do, you know. But even just the fact that you you believed in me in a certain way, that kind of helped me make a lot of those tough decisions that you said that I made. Some of those firm decisions. People like you, and there's only a few of them. The things that you said to me at a really rough time in my mental space, those things made me who I probably am today, you know? So that...
I'm like welling up right now.
Shut up.
I really am. I'm like about to cry right now.
No, so that's what you've done that for me. And a lot of people might have just been kind of sat back and just said, oh yeah, I love Thomas. Thomas is cool and all that stuff or whatever. But you went farther and was like, pulled me to the side on certain times and like, yo, like, you know, you should do this. You can do this, blah, blah, blah. And I'd fight you the whole conversation and I'd have 1,000 reasons why I couldn't do it. But just like that confidence in me was all I needed to make some changes. And because of that, you know, I feel like, you know, other than like the superficial stuff, like, you know, started, you know, dressing a little better because you were like, you kind of, you let that happen. So I'm like, let's do this. But other than that, like, I feel like just your vocal example, like you're not just example, you live by example too, you know. But then like your willingness to be open, like you said, you're an open book. You are an open book, and you flat out were like open book this, you know, open book these, you know. And that's what you've done for me. And so like and you challenged me to be a better employee for Relo Trends because. I think right around the time I met you, I was doing okay. I was a sales guy, whatever. But you made me like, yo, you're not just a sales guy. You got some dope qualities. You push, you know, demand, you know, push and go. And I've done some of that and all that, and it just worked out. And I think that back to the whole job hopping thing, if Purple Dawn didn't like do well with that push, I probably wouldn't be there anymore. Because, I mean, I get job offers, you know, so I would have left already if he wasn't receptive to, like, some of the new things I tried to do. But, so I appreciate, you know, your friendship. And I am sorry. I'm not really sorry. But I don't hang out much. So, like, it's just, like, one of those things.
Your style. It's like it's my wife's style, too.
Yeah, I'm like a home guy.
Like, I know it doesn't reflect on how you feel about me.
Yeah, no, yeah. I love you.
You know, I love you, too, man. I just wish... You know, we could like, you know, love each other in person. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Not just at conferences, right?
Yeah, not just at conferences. Yeah. So anyway, I think I appreciate your friendship too, man. I'm glad we're doing this project together too. Because here's the thing that I really want to accomplish with this is I feel like we've learned a lot from one another. Mm-hmm. I want other people to be able to share in that. You know, I want other people to be able to look at their lives through our lenses, learn from maybe our mistakes, be inspired maybe by our successes, and you know, really offer that out to people, especially if they're in the relocation and moving industry, or even if they're not. You know, even if they're just, you know, people who are of a certain age or at a certain place in their career, going through similar stuff. I'd like to look into ours and then be candid and be real, because there are a lot of people who don't have people that we have in our lives who they can just go to and be like, hey man, this is what's happening, it's crazy, whatever, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, for the most part, I would assume that most professionals don't necessarily have other professionals that they can be 100% real with. I mean, they normally, you do your work thing at work or whatever, when you're at a conference, you just project that, you live that life there. But then as soon as you go home, then you're talking to your friends about your goals and your dreams and your aspirations. And they're so detached from your actual
they have no idea. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, you went to
Why
this
would
or
you relocate? They still don't know. My friends still like, oh, you ship cars. Okay, yeah, but they don't get it. But you know the inner workings of the industry and all that stuff. And so when you see the things that I'm good at, you're like, this would be perfect for this.
Well, especially when career people try to talk to their job friends. And they're like, and their job is like, I would never stay late at work. I would never. If I traveled on a Saturday, they'd have to give me a comp day because I would never. I get time and a half for that. Like,
it's a totally different mindset.
We're in a different place.
You can't lean on on certain people. And I do hope though that we can. The farther we go on these episodes, we get a little deeper into how we think and feel about certain things and ideas about it. Because I know I can't. We got to figure out a way to. I gotta find some good questions to ask you about the relocation industry, because I'd love to catch you on like a good day or a bad day, and then let you like rip something really quick.
Well, I'm trying to be my best self lately.
Okay, well, I won't tee you up for failure. Like I'll set you up for a home run, and I just want you to you just gotta knock it out of the park. But it's gotta be one of those days you gotta let me know that if you're cranky, because Ben gets cranky.
I get real cranky.
He gets real cranky.
I get hangry. I don't get enough sleep sometimes. Sometimes people irritate me. I try to be, all love, but sometimes I just revert to a very basic self.
Which one is that in Pulp Fiction? Is it Julius or what's the other guy?
Jules.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like Jules. I'm the Guns of the Navarone.
Yeah.
Superfly TNT.
But so we got to get into this a little deeper and talk about some relocation things. I'd love to. We talked about it before. We want to get some questions going.
Yes, ask questions.
And that's real though. Like and
real questions.
Real questions about from on my side of things. I'm more of a personal type of thing. Fitness, health. You want to talk about car relocation? You can. I don't really want to, but we can.
Mm-hmm.
But on Ben's side of things. I'm the casual guy, and Ben's like, and this is, it really is how it looks. You really are more professional.
I want people to ask real questions they want real answers to, or questions maybe that they feel like they can't ask other people, or that maybe they don't know people like us, so they want to ask us, I want people to have an outlet for that.
And we do, we have a conference coming up here, a big one, ERC, in Boston.
We got ERC in Boston coming up,
And
shout out to Peggy Smith.
Peggy Smith. They do a great job. ERC is, the best conference, one of the best conferences out there.
ERC has built my career straight up and down. I remember my first ERC in San Antonio. It was the Americas before it used to be the National Relocation Conference.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably around that 2013 era.
Yeah, like the whole
and Heidi Hume and 40 Below and all that. I still remember it vividly, and I have friends from that conference, and that. Ever since, I've not missed one except when my son was born, and it has built my career.
Yeah, and you told me like for years, like you gotta go to ERC. That's another you gotta go to ERC. You gotta go to ERC, and I had all these reasons why I didn't or couldn't go or whatever. And I went one year, and I'm like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And we worked with a lot of people. It's if you're in the relocation space at all, you need to go at least once.
Yeah.
Check it out because there's something for everybody.
And if you haven't been in a while too, I think it's important because I think what happened. they are evolving.
Yes.
I think what happens sometimes is you go for 5 years, maybe you get burned out. Maybe
it doesn't work.
I haven't learned anything new.
You didn't get any ROI.
You know what?
One time
Let me tell you an epiphany I had. Right? Mm-hmm. People say to me, they say, "Oh, that conference. I go to that conference every year, and not just about ERC, but any conference. I go to that conference every year." And it sucks. And I'm like, really? Because I thought it was amazing. Maybe you suck.
Yeah, flat out. If you go,
if every year you go to a conference and it sucks, maybe you suck.
Something's wrong with you. If there's 2,000 people in a building with in the same industry as you, and it sucks,
and you can't find value there,
then you kind of suck.
You suck.
I mean, and then there's ways that you can unsuck too. I mean, you can
unsuck yourself.
You
can read a book. That's what you about to hit me with.
There's books about networking and all type of stuff. I mean, do something for yourself. If you can't go into a room with 2,000 people and make it work and walk out with something, you just need help.
Well, and also too, I mean, people go to these things and they surround themselves with their clique and with people that they know.
That's a bad part.
And maybe they need to unstick themselves from that clique.
Yeah, or because if you're in a clique that because whenever we're in a conference, we hang out a lot. But I know for sure if I'm hanging with you, I'm gonna meet a lot of new people because we move around a lot.
Yeah, and we also
stuck in one spot.
We
We're
also
around.
Understand. Hey, man, I gotta go over here. I'll catch you. I'll see you around.
Right, I'll see you in a minute because this person is not who I want to be with right now.
And if you go with people from your company, do not hang out with those people.
No, just bounce.
Your company might as well just pay for one registration because if you're all in the same sessions doing the same things,
you meet the same
going
people.
to the same booths. That's dumb. That's just dumb.
Somebody introduced someone to me via email the other day and said, "Hey, can you show her around? She's new and all that stuff." So if there's anybody that is going to ERC for the first time, second time, third time, and you just you have any questions or whatever, hit us up with questions. Or if you want to just meet up with us somewhere at the conference, that'd be even better.
You would be very smart. We have a lot of fun. We learn a lot of things. We'll introduce you to a lot of people. One thing I did is I started an ambassador program.
You did, and I
started that. I started that, John. Yeah, and I actually met up with people and I asked them. I said, "Hey, so it's your first time. What do you want to learn?" Like, "Oh, I want to learn about tax, or I want to meet a RMC, or I want to blah 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 blah." And they made a list like 3. I want to go to a really cool party. I've never, I don't get out much.
We got all that.
You know what I mean?
We got all that.
I was like, give me your top 3 to 5, and I will put a little itinerary together for you, and I will guarantee you have a phenomenal time and learn a lot and whatever your professional goals are.
Yeah. So if you're going to be at ARC and you want some guidance of what to do, where to go, either one of us can help you. And ERC is extremely helpful as well. So please reach out to them. I mean, because Heidi Hume, I doubt she wants to get another email.
Heidi Hume doesn't need no email.
Yeah, she doesn't need no email, so forget I said that. But yeah, hit Ben up. If you hit Heidi Hume, it's Ben's fault too.
Yeah.
But
hit me up, direct message me, connect with me on LinkedIn.
So next one. Next one. I don't know what we want to talk about.
Well, do we go to maybe we talk about conferences?
Let's talk about conferences. Let's get into
because we got some. It's conference season coming up.
Okay, so we
got some really fly opportunities that I think need to be talked about. Yep.
So let's talk
tips, tricks.
Yeah, let's talk about do's and don'ts. Do's and don'ts.
Oh my gosh, I want to do this right now.
No, we can't.
You know my favorite quote. I know the quote that's going on the board.
Oh,
by the way, we did the board thing. Yeah. So we got okay. Back.
So next week, do's, don'ts.
Conference season. Best conferences. Oh no, we're not doing that. We're not doing best conferences. We can do our favorite conferences. How about that? And I think maybe a rundown of where we're going to be, what conferences we're going to. At the end, so where people can catch us and see us. See us live and in person. Yeah. And then what we need to do is when we go to those conferences together, we got
do a podcast there,
film live.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe have some guest stars.
Yeah, and if you want to be a guest, if you want to sit in the middle here,
if you're coming through the D or you're going to see us live. Yeah. In person somewhere. We should have had Adam. Let me know. Adam. Yeah, Adam ended up in the office. Adam Lowe from Move for Hunger. Yeah. Shout out to Move for Hunger. If you don't support Move for Hunger right now and you're in the relocation industry, I don't really know if you deserve coffee ever. You're missing out, man. So we did the Detroit truck pull last Saturday. Raised over $40,000 for Hunger. For Move for Hunger, it had some phenomenal clients out, had some phenomenal sponsors. My kids came out. University Moving Storage won, second year in a row. I wonder how that happened. Yeah, hey, we're movers. We move stuff. All of a sudden, the guy lets off the brake while you're pulling the truck. Is that how it worked? I think this year might have had something to do with it. But, over $40,000. That feeds so many families. So many, and it was the most money they ever raised in the event. So quick more plug, I guess, for Over Hunger. But
it just baffles me. Like, I mean, the concept of food insecure. I mean, I think Adam was one of the first people.
You're baffled. Look at me, bro. You think I ever met food insecurity?
So, like, the first time Adam said that, like, I didn't really understand what it meant, and just the fact that there's people and children that go to sleep not knowing where their next meal is gonna come from. Like,
nothing in the fridge.
Yeah, just don't know. Like, it maybe
they only get one solid meal, and that's free lunch.
And that's in
school.
This country. You know, like, we're always like really, we see all that stuff on TV about, you know, the other countries, which is an atrocity as well. But the fact that there's people here that we can help take care of, and this industry is perfect, and Adam found a really great niche for that, and it's. I love it. And in fact, I'm running a marathon at the right after ERC.
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
You strongly committed.
I'm firmly committed to run my first marathon on the 20th of October.
Respect.
I'm actually raising money for Move for Hunger, so I'll do another plug with that later. But
okay.
I'm actually gonna fly back early to like rest, and then from ERC.
You like resting? That's a thing.
Yeah, you gotta like get ready for like to run 26.2 miles.
I wouldn't know.
So
I would do it cold.
I need you to at least like give me like $26.2, bro.
I'll give you $26.2, and maybe I'll do a family 5K or something like that. They don't do that there.
No,
it's
like
serious
downtown.
runners.
No, it's like, I mean, not serious runners.
I'll park far away, and I'll walk there with my family.
Just be there. Just be there at the finish line. Because hopefully I'll make it there.
I want to be the guy pouring water on you when you run by.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I think I might like that. It was October in Detroit. Never mind.
Crazy.
All right, man.
So next one is about conferences.
Conferences, do's, don'ts, favorite ones.
Everything, where we're going to be.
Tricks, tips, where we're going to be.
Hit us with questions. And
this will be fun. I like the next
conference.
Yeah,
it's going to be good. And also, don't forget, we need suggestions on the name.
The name.
We need you to weigh in, and then we're gonna take
you said something earlier that I really like.
Play it back.
I can't remember.
And then we're gonna do votes on that. So appreciate y'all tuning in, and catch you guys next week.
All right, the Wolf Pack.